Hi, all, and welcome to Monday night's All Meta Mode podcast with Gypsy and myself, Amanda Digger DeGauze. Before we get started with tonight's episode, a quick reminder, April's Dirt Digest magazine is available at dirtdigestmagazine.com. Go over to dirtdigestmagazine.com and click on, actually, I think it's the main page now. So right there will be the April's issue. You can go and click on the arrows or the little lines in the top right corner and read past articles or past magazines as well. And I know May's going to be dropping here, next week? We're already entering May. So yeah, that's all I've got. It's been a long 2 weeks since we've chatted. So hey, Gypsy, how are you?
Hey, Amanda. I am wonderful. I'm up in East Texas right now. Been doing a little bit of back and forth traveling lately. So, but it's been fun. How about you?
I've been doing lots of traveling. I realized I think I put 600 miles on the truck this past week.
Holy moly. Wow. That's crazy. I mean, we haven't traveled in so long because of COVID and everything. So it's good to finally get out there and be digging more and all that. So I know you recently went you've had a few digging therapy outings, and I've had a few digging therapy outings. So I know before we talk about you going to Bone, tell us about your mudlarking and some of the things you found recently.
Yeah, so the weekend before I headed to that event you were talking about, I got out. We had heavy, heavy rain and low tide, and I was like, you know what? I'm going out. Can't do it, don't want to stay in. One of my very first finds was a Spanish tile with what looks like a deer jumping over a fence or a dog jumping over a fence. And it is my first intact, non-cracked, non-chipped tile, and it made my day right off the bat.
Oh my goodness. I saw your video that you did of that, and when you popped that over, it was just gorgeous. I was so amazed of how perfect it was and in good a shape, and the color on it was just gorgeous.
Yeah, it's basically only two colors, the yellowish orange and the blue, but man, it certainly popped. I'm just so used to, flipping things like that and there's nothing on the front, or it's all shattered, or you flip it and it's just blank. So to have flipped that, and I was very excited. And then I think I got the biggest printing plate with a bunch of words that I've gotten in a long time. Sadly, I haven't had the moment to clean it up, so I have no idea what it says.
Oh, man.
And I got my first German marble. What are those called?
Oh, the little glazed kind?
Yes. Yep. I found my first, and now I'm blanking on it.
I don't even know the name of it either. I just know some of them are the little glazed. They're very pretty. It's like a clay marble, isn't it? But it's kind of has shiny glazing over it.
Yep, it's shiny glazed, and then it's got one flat side. So apparently when they baked them, they would always be sitting on Bennington. It's a Bennington marble.
Oh, wow.
They would be sitting so that way, it would be so they could cook it, basically. So it was a very exciting outing. It was
that is very exciting. You always find the neatest things, and that tile is that was pretty epic in my book. It was. I know it's not a coin or something metal like we normally find when we're metal detecting, but I love those nice little surprises like that. And when I saw that where it said Spain on the back. I thought that was just so
Yeah.
cool. And you flip it over and it's like, whoa. Oh man. Well, that was neat. So
Yeah.
after you finished your mudlarking, where did you head to?
I headed to Western New Hampshire. What is it? Best of New England or Best O New England, Bone 28. So it's my first time doing a metal detecting event, like a week-long metal detecting event. And I tell you, I think I do. I need a vacation from it. Um, yeah, it was
it's a
oh, go ahead.
it's a lot of work. I mean, people don't realize our hobby is, they go, oh, you get to go out there and have so much fun and do what you love to do. But then when you're out there, they don't realize, hey, you're digging one,
Yeah.
one hole after another, after another, after another, after another. That's a lot of bending and
Yeah.
it's a lot of work. Plus
And
the weather.
the weather was crazy. It was crazy, especially coming from Maine. I was actually coming from somewhat warmer weather, but it sounds like a good portion of the country basically experienced four seasons in the last week as well. So,
Yep,
um,
yep.
so I'm not surprised by that. But the amount of trash. So in the first 2 days, I always try to bring an empty bucket, like either a Home Depot bucket or we have some old, like those kitty litter buckets. I throw them in the back of
Mhm.
my truck so that way I can periodically, stop back by and empty the pouch. Between Laura and I'm pretty sure we filled the bucket in 2 days full of trash.
Wow. Wow.
And then
I
I,
try to recycle those cat
yeah,
buckets too. They
and
make
the,
good trash buckets.
Yeah, they
Sorry.
do. They really do. But and I'm looking and I ended up having to grab I had one of those construction trash bags. Ended up having to grab one of those and we filled the bottom of that. So by the end of the week, yeah, it was the construction trash bag and the full bucket but you have to dig them. You have to, especially, these are older sites and those some of those
Yeah.
cans are a foot down reading really pretty. Um yeah, so that was crazy in itself. I think that's the most amount of trash I've dug in quite a while. So it was
And
just,
yeah, and I was thinking about that the other day when I was detecting in the river, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But how many times, we're digging in an area that's high trash,
mm,
and how many times you've been down to dig a target and it is trash, you usually end up digging way more trash than treasure. But think of the cleanup we do, but then the
yes,
next day you're back in your knees.
everything, everything. Oh man, I know it was the fourth full day of detecting, and I was making my way back to the truck, and there was another digger that was, doing the line of corn row with me, couple rows over, and I got a really good signal, and I stuck the shovel in, and then I couldn't get the shovel out. I couldn't flip the hole. And, I almost fell over at one point. And he looked over, he's like, "You all right?" And I'm like, yeah. He's like, "You need help?" I'm like, "No, I can get this." It took me, I think, 3 to 4 tries to flip the stupid hole.
Were
And,
you just exhausted at that point? Is that why, or?
totally, totally. And it had poured rivers. So it was that heavy
Oh,
mud type clay. It was like
oh,
was it chazzy or cheesy? Remember how heavy
yeah.
that dirt was?
And
Um,
it sticks to your shovel, and you're
yep.
trying to kick it off with your boots, and then it's sticking to your boots, and oh yeah, yep,
It
yep, yep.
was, yeah, it was nasty. But hey, it turned out to be a button, so I was glad I finally got it. And then I was like, I put the detector on my shoulder, and he's like, "Oh, you're done detecting?" I'm like, "It's kind of no point in detecting if you can't if you can't flip your hole." I'm like, I don't want to hear
Right.
another good signal because I won't be able to do it.
Oh boy. Yeah, this time at well, I'll get into those hunts in a little bit, but like at the Garrett hunt, when you have like, I can imagine like I've done a whole week, not necessarily a hunt like that, but a whole week straight of detecting. Usually by the second or third day, my whole body is aching. And just like not too long ago when I went and dug at that ghost town, by the time I got home, I barely had a tiny little break while I was standing up. I think I barely sat that day for maybe a couple minutes. So standing practically all day, except for the drive over there and the drive home, 8 hours of detecting all day and bending and stuff, your body, I could barely walk.
It's, yeah, the drive home was one of those too. Your eyes keep closing. You're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I had to keep pulling
yeah.
over and opening the window. I'm like, oh, just get out.
You're slapping your face.
Someone's got to come up with that
So-
the teleportation machine because I need one.
Oh man, I feel you there. Definitely. I just wanted to quickly say right now, I'm in East Texas right now at my parents', so I am not in chat tonight. I apologize. So if you all, if anyone has any questions or puts anything, that's why I'm not saying hello in chat. Just wanted to point that out. I haven't forgotten you. Love you all.
And
Go ahead.
I am in chat, so if you all have any questions, I can definitely relay them to Gypsy. So, but yeah, so let's see. You spent, was it not this past weekend, but the weekend before, you were at the Charles Garrett Memorial Hunt. How'd that go?
That went really great. It was really neat. It was the Charles Garrett Memorial Hunt. Plus, they had the Texas Association of Metal Detectors, or metal detectorists, or metal detecting clubs. That's it. Anyway, a little long there. They kind of joined together this year, and what they did is they had the Texas metal detecting clubs had booths set up inside this pavilion there at the fairgrounds, or what they call the Trades Day Fairgrounds in Canton, Texas. And each booth, like people would bring their finds, so you could go by and look at people, members of the club, some of their finds. They would also have, a lot of the tables had raffle tickets. They were raffling off like gold coins, metal detectors, all kinds of cool prizes, display cases, just all types of stuff. So that really added to it, I think. I thought it was really neat. They also, the Texas Metal Detecting Association had a guest speaker. They did a barbecue dinner, was it Friday night, and you could pay like $25 for this banquet dinner, and we had a guest speaker, and the guest speaker was really amazing. I bought one of his books because I've seen him before at some of the treasure shows. Some of you might have heard of him. It's W.C. Jameson. And he was a really neat guy. He's written over 200-something books. And he's a metal detectorist, treasure hunter. But he writes all these amazing books. So I bought a couple books. He ended up giving me a little book, too. And really neat guy. He had some really interesting stuff in his talk. He actually talked about some gold mines, which are called some lost gold mines over near, not too far from where I live. So I was especially interested in hearing all these. My ears perked up. So
did you say gold?
Did you say gold? Kind of, I always joke, I do this little thing, like around Christmas time, the old Christmas thing with Yukon Cornelius. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so, yeah.
He's got the red beard and the red little
Yes.
mustache, and he's
Yep.
gold, and he licks his little gold pick. He's like, gold. Anyway, uh, sorry, a little off topic there, but that's what I always think of when you say gold. Yukon Cornelius. Anyway, but anyway, he talked about some of the lost mines of San Saba, and they had a slideshow. It was really good. The food was excellent, and I got to see some old friends that I hadn't seen in so long. It was great seeing some treasure the fellow detectorists from all over, and also meet new friends. I met a lot of new people that I, didn't know, metal detectors from other areas, some from Utah, some from, you name it, Florida, all over. And of course, I gave them some business cards. And anyway, just really great. But I did talk to the guy from that book. I told him about my thing that I'm working on with the History Channel with about Sam Bass is one of them. And so those are the books I bought. So I was reading up on those while I'm here visiting my family in East Texas. So I've already read the sections on Sam Bass, so I'm caught up on his stuff, his stories. But it was really good. He's actually been in some of the first season, a couple of the episodes of the Beyond Oak Island. So
Oh,
that was
awesome.
really neat.
That's
And
cool.
so we talked about that a little. And then today, while I'm here, I got a phone call from one of the producers that they're ready to go on and start filming. We set up some film dates. Actually, I was going to be out of town part of those dates, and so they're trying to rework it a little. I was going to be in Florida. So it would only kind of offset it by 2 to 3 days is all, but I think we can make it work.
Nice.
But they'll be coming to Texas to film I do know, for at least a week. And the first part of it will be scouting some areas, and we already have permissions to metal detect some private property that supposedly Sam Bass hung out. And I sent them some clips of part of one that I got to explore some, and they said the producers, it's a go. So we're going to start filming hopefully around the first part of June. So excited about that.
That's awesome.
And anyway, so I kind of been on YouTube a little. I did watch part of one of the episodes last night when I woke up at 4 a.m. I couldn't sleep. So I watched a little YouTube and watched a portion of one of the episodes, kind of to see how they did the plans the episode out and stuff, so I'd get a better idea of kind of how I'm going to fit into their storyline. So it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So I also got invited back up to where we filmed with Freddie Dodge at the gold mine. The episode I was in at the same gold mine up in Oregon, and trying to work out something with Steve, with Garrett, to possibly, I already spoiled it with you. Now, a lot of people that were already at the Charles Garrett Memorial Hunt know this information, but Steve Moore announced they were talking about some of the new products coming out that Garrett is working on. And one, most of you know that unfortunately, when White shut down, fortunately, Garrett was able to purchase, they're, what am I trying to say? Help me out here.
Their technology and the name.
Their technology, yeah, the name and stuff to carry on the White's legacy. And Steve Moore talked a lot about that and that transaction while we were there. And he brought a detector with him, and he had it on stage when he was doing his little talk about the new technology and stuff coming out. But they will be reintroducing the White's 24K gold machine. They're working on some new coils and stuff with that. So I'm really excited, and I really hope I'm, fingers crossed that I do get to go up to Oregon and test that baby out. But it's still kind of, in the prototype stage, and everything's not quite ready. So I don't know if we'll be able to do that, but it's going to be really neat. And then carrying on that, it'll be neat to see the Garrett and the White's logo right there together.
I kind of can't wait.
Yeah, we'll have to, you and I will have to swing one of those together for sure. I'm really excited, and I'm really excited. I think if I remember correctly, that machine runs off like 40 kilohertz, if I remember what I think Steve had said or mentioned, which, the higher the frequency, usually the higher frequency detectors work really good on the lower conductivity metals like gold. So really anxious to test that out. So anyway, I'm really excited about that. So I talked to Steve this morning and trying to work out something with that. I hope that works out. If not, if that does work out, I will be leaving probably Friday or Saturday to head to Oregon. So
that's crazy. And so I saw you got to see Jace while you were at the hunt.
Yeah, that was really neat. So they were trying to keep it under wraps, not to let people know because they weren't really sure. I know Jace had something either the day before or the day after. I think it was his Uncle Si's birthday celebration or something like that. So he wasn't 100% sure if he was going to be able to make it. So he made it to the Garrett hunt on Sunday. Yeah. Was it Sunday? No. Gosh, I can't keep it. Saturday.
Yep.
The relic hunt. And so anyway, he drives up and to the relic hunt, and Steve says, "Oh, there's Jace. He's here. He made it." And he gets out of the truck. It was so funny. I wish I would have had this on video the whole time. He gets out of the truck and he sees me from afar and he goes, "Gypsy, Gypsy, come here. I've got something for you." And so so I walked over there. He kept going, "Gypsy, Gypsy." And so I walk over there by his truck, and he gets out and he reaches in his pocket. He's like, "I've got something for you. We need the cameras. We need the cameras." But he couldn't wait. He had to show it to me. So he showed it to me. And then we walked a little further over, and everybody's walking up and greeting him and everything. He says, "Get the cameras. Gypsy, we need to record this. This video is going to go viral." And I go, "Okay." So anyway, it was so cute. He gave me this rose tag that he had found like a week prior to the hunt, and he was out metal detecting, and he dug a rose tag. Now, most of us have all dug rose tags.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have. I've dug many of them. But he digs this rose tag, and it says Gypsy on it. And it was really cool. He said, as soon as I dug that up, I knew exactly who I was going to give that to. So there were like 3 different or 4 different people filming him give that to me. And so one of my friends that came with me, which I'll talk about them in a minute, had 2 people that had never been to a organized hunt that got to go to newbies, and they had an absolute blast. So we'll have to have them definitely on the podcast sometime. They're both two people that I've seen in some of my videos that live not all that far from me. One of them is my friend Zola. She's fairly new to metal detecting. I think she's been talking about a little over a year now. And she started out with the Garrett Ace 400, and then she bought the Apex when it came out, and then now she's got an Apex and an AT Max because she's ready to do some water hunting. And she walked out in the river the first time she tried out her AT Max and found this 24 karat gold ring. First hit. Amazing. So yeah, she sent it into the fine thing, the Garrett thing that they do, fine of the month thing.
Yep.
And it was neat. We were sitting there, and I was talking to Vaughn Garrett, the son of Charles Garrett, at the hunt one day, and he came and sat down with us and was talking with us, and I got to telling him about her ring, and so he looked at it and said he wanted her to send some more photos. So even if she doesn't win, who knows, it might end up in one of their Garrett advertisements or his book that he puts out with the find of the month type things. So
it's awesome.
That was really cool.
That is very cool.
And we also got I got a signed book from him that was a finished story about the Charles Garrett story, about when he very first started the business up until now. And his wife Eleanor had helped finish writing it along with Steve Moore, and they completed the book. And so they were giving those out free to everyone. So that was really neat. So yeah, there was so much going on. But yeah, I got to see Jace. I dug a cannonball.
Ooh, that's cool.
But let me tell you, so it was in the seated relic hunt, so it doesn't count. Well, it counts, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Everybody listening knows what I mean. It doesn't count as an official natural find in its natural element. But it was really cool, and I did not keep it. I buried it back, and it was funny. Sergeant, you all know Sergeant Whitey. He was there. Sean,
yep.
Cheryl, and he dug it after me, and he took a photo and buried it back. And then finally a guy, gosh, I can't remember his name right now, ended up finding it and got to keep it, or kept it, I didn't feel right, keeping it, representing Garrett, and it wasn't a natural find. So I put it back. it was a lot of fun, though. So I did get a little video with me digging that up, and my friend Cinder, she videoed me digging that up and stuff. So it's going to be a little corny.
Oh man, I ended up doing a seated hunt too, and
hey,
let's get your opinion on something. So I've done multiple seated hunts before, and some end up are beaches, some are fields.
Mm-hmm.
I already knew I was at a disadvantage because I forgot my larger coil, so I had the small Eclipse on, and so the seated hunt, they buried multiple targets in the same hole. So I've never actually been to a seated hunt where, there's multiple coins, like 5, 8. So that kind of threw me. So I was a little bummed. Definitely did not do my best. I think I ended up with like an Indian head penny that was on the surface. And
wow.
Yeah, so I was kind of sad.
All?
That was all I wound up with. And which is it absolutely, I mean, the last few that I've done
Well,
though have some big shoes to fill because I absolutely knocked it
yeah.
out of the park with those hunts. Um, so asking our listeners to, yeah, I know a lot of seated hunts aren't people's jam. It was just something. It was, the whole week wasn't ruined for me because of it, because it wasn't the reason I had signed up to go. But I did think it was quite odd, so I thought I'd bring it up and see if anybody else has ever done a seated hunt with multiple targets in the same hole.
I've done a lot of seated hunts over the years. They are not my favorite because I like finding stuff in
Yeah.
the
Yep.
natural. But when I do, if you're going to pay money to go to a seated hunt, um, I mean, I've dug some where I've dug a few in one hole, but usually, like even at the Charles Garrett hunt, I dug one that had a token in it with a silver coin. Now they did that
Oh,
on purpose, probably because the token being probably a more of a lower signal conductivity metal, and put the higher conductivity metal in there with it, easier to pick up. So I thought that was pretty smart. Because you want to make sure those tokens are found.
yeah.
And I actually buried 2 prize tokens. Garrett had made up some prize tokens for me to do, and I only had one of my tokens found. So
Uh,
that happened.
yeah.
Um, and also the thing about seated hunts, um, depending on how deep if they're seeding them actually in the ground or if they're hiding them in the grass, it makes a difference. And what I liked about the way Garrett does it, and I helped seed one of the hunts, so I know how, and I've helped seed many hunts in the past, with part of clubs too that I've been a part of and stuff like that. And all we do is we just take a tiny slit, just a tiny slit in the ground, and drop that coin in there. A lot of times some of it is thrown into the grass, so it's right on top. But we try to spread those out to where at least when you're swinging and there's a lot of people in the field, that even if you're swinging and someone's digging one target and they're swinging the other way and you've missed one target, you found, the everyone's getting multiple targets to
Yeah.
dig. So it makes for a really good hunt. And Garrett has always been really good with their seated hunts. Are amazing, and the prizes are amazing. I don't know how many metal detectors they ended up giving away besides other wonderful prizes. But I know how disappointing. I've had that happen to me once where I went to a hunt and, I did pay some money and it was very disappointing. I think I found 4 or 5, coins, and that can be very disheartening, especially for new people that have never been and they don't know. Their recovery speed may not be. They may be a little slow swinging, and like some of these people, that's all they do is they go to these seated hunts. So that can be very disheartening, especially when you paid a lot of money.
Yeah, I can. Thankfully, that's not the case for me because it was a full, and I had a great week anyway. But I could see the disappointment, and I just didn't know, as a somewhat newbie, because I think I've only been attending events now for probably 4 years. I didn't know if it was like a state thing, if it was something different, or if,
Mm,
yeah, there are groups that do that. And I think Madison, Maine said sometimes, there's tons of Wheaties thrown about, and but some are stamped, and it's,
have
I think it's to each
usually
their own. But
tokens.
it's good to know, it's nice to know ahead
Yeah.
of time too. Um,
Well, that's another thing. If you are going to do that, I think that it should be announced when the hunt is starting that, hey, some of these have multiple
And
targets in one
And I think
hole,
I'm
just
pretty
like a
sure it was. I think they did say that there
okay,
could be a couple coins in the hole. I just didn't expect that many in the same hole. Because I think
right,
someone
right.
said
That's a
like one of
lot.
them was like 14 in one hole, and I'm like, what? So
Holy
there's the whole
moly!
hunt right there. But
Yeah. Well, now what was neat about the Garrett hunt is they do caches too, and they let you know how many caches. Or I think this year they just did cache tokens, but before, they would have like a cache that they would plant out there. They would have 100 of them.
ooh,
And inside those caches, some of those caches would be full of silver dollars and half dollars. They were really cool to find. So, no, that's different. But yeah, I can see how that could be a little disheartening for
yeah,
some,
and I'm not
especially
bashing them.
starting out.
Everyone does their own
No,
thing. It
right,
was just one of those like, oh, that's totally different for me. So
right,
definitely,
right,
definitely good to get all the specifics on the hunt prior. Again, like you don't want to be like me with the teeny tiny coil, which, that smaller coil works perfect in the cornfield because I can go right in between the stalks.
right,
But
right.
not so good when
Um,
you're in the big fields and yeah.
while we're talking about hunts, I'm going to throw something out there, and I'm not in chat, but maybe we can kind of get if
Oh yeah. Yep.
um, if Amanda and I planned a hunt. I just found a property here in Texas that has history. It's about 1,000 acres. It has RV hookups, I think 50 RV hookups. Um, it has outdoor, it is huge. I looked at, anyway, I've got phone numbers, and the people have already said they would be interested if we could put together a hunt. How many of you would be willing to drive to Texas? I'm thinking maybe start out the first time. This would be next year sometime. Proper planning, like if All Metal Mode or Amanda and I did some sort of rally hunt. Uh, how many of you would be interested in coming? Now, this is on the San Gabriel River. Um, about an hour from where I live, about a little longer than an hour. But it's a beautiful area. We're talking right on the San Gabriel River where there used to be old Spanish missions. It's just huge fields. It would be an amazing, open, beautiful place to metal detect. Not only that, they have huge other types of this venue has a lot of other things, modern things that happen, people that, come and stay and have big, whatever my Texas talk wants to say, shindig, but rallies, rallies, stuff like, what I'm talking about. But, of course, there would probably be modern trash at that area that you would dig. But potential with the history there as well, you never know what we might find. Something from the Spaniards. So just kind of putting the feelers out. Would any of y'all even be interested in that if we started out with a 500 or capped it at 500? Would any of y'all be interested in coming to that?
Mm. And probably what you think, later fall where it's cooler instead of super hot.
Yeah, in Texas, it would probably need to be fall,
All right. It looks like
definitely.
there's about 4 or 5 so far that say they'd be interested.
Okay. Um, and I don't know. It's a thought. I've never thought of planning one of these. Like I've helped with small events, but never huge events. So I would be learning kind of from other people's input. But anyway, something to think about. So just wanted to run that by y'all and see what they thought. So, what are your thoughts, Amanda?
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun. You know, It's all.
You come to Texas.
I just wish I didn't have to work. This week even more so, like working on a Monday after being off and detecting and having a lot of fun, realizing that you know I was out in nature for sun up till sundown for 6 days in a row, and I barely looked at my phone and had a lot of fun. And then today, sitting in front of a computer, and um, yeah, it's kind of a bummer. Gotta save,
Yeah, it go
gotta,
back to reality.
yeah, gotta save my time off so that way I can enjoy enjoy life.
Well, if we did do this, I'm thinking maybe a weekend, so it'd be like a Friday, Saturday, and half Sunday, half Friday and half Sunday hunt,
Yeah,
kind of like the Garrett hunt.
like a weekend type thing.
Yeah, it's more what I'm thinking.
Yeah, we'll figure it
But
out.
yeah, it's good.
I do know airline prices are jumping.
They are, so we might have to play this by ear, if we do start planning something
Yeah, or
and look
plan
into
for.
all the costs for everybody and consider all that. So
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a
Or
thought.
and push come to shove, it could always be, putting out the feelers now for 2022.
Right. I'm thinking, yeah, 2022
So
is what I'm thinking at this point.
awesome.
Um, anyway, but yeah, you talking about, taking a week off and all that. I actually, um, you were at Bone and I was at the river trying to do a early river hunt, and the water, the weather, like you said, y'all got that cold weather and rainy weather up there. We had a cold front move here through Texas too, and so the water was freezing,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was the only person in the water. The first day I got there, I did see two fishermen with waders, but I had hip waders on, so I was trying to stick to the shallow areas because I didn't want to dip my arm down that far because it was already freezing. And of course, it rained on me. The first day was really cold, but I did manage one ring the first day, and um, I must have dug a million pull tabs and trash and stuff like what we were talking about, lots of clad. And then the second day, it rained on me. It was warmer, but it rained.
Yeah.
Uh, but I'm already, out in the water. So I didn't mind, a little rain. I just, if it started thunder or, lightning, I would have had to get out of the
Your
water. But
your crazy counterpart was out detecting in the field while it was thundering and lightning.
were you?
He was,
Yeah, we had
I, it
the
was
same thing
crazy.
happened at the Garrett hunt. Same thing happened at the Garrett hunt. It was crazy rain that first hunt that day, so everybody got broke in there too. We were all in mud and rivers, and just yeah, lots of stories there.
Uh,
So yeah, we're a little bit crazy,
yeah, I
but
looked up. I'm
yeah,
hiding in my truck. It's thundering and lightning. With the whites, with the frequency and everything, and the sensitivity, you can hear the lightning. Whenever it's
really.
weather like that, I have my sensitivity up and you can hear it. And so I heard it and I was like, yeah, you don't want to be in the middle of like 100-acre fields with this giant metal shovel. And so I did. I went and jumped in my truck, and who goes detecting by the front of my truck but Rusty? I'm like, are you kidding? Like, what is he doing?
Well, they don't let Rusty out much. He's works in customer service at Garrett, and he's just an amazing, sweet guy. And that that is so funny. That is hilarious. I'm gonna have to tease him about that. Oh boy. Oh, so speaking of Rusty and Miguel from Garrett, tell us about y'all's other adventure while you were there.
Oh, that was Saturday. Yeah, so, um, the guys had said that they were heading out in the late afternoon out of the Boston Logan Airport. So, they were asking about places and whatnot, and I was like, they were like, I'm like, what about the button dump? I'm like, it seems when anybody comes in the area, it was a real last minute thing. And so Saturday morning, I got up at 3 a.m. and at 4:30, I was on the road to Rhode Island. So I got there about 12 to 15 minutes before them, and yeah, we dug the button dump. I ended up taking off a little early, about 11:30, but I think it was Miguel's first time dump digging, and
Wow.
I know Rusty had talked quite a bit that that's something that he does. So I know that they were a
He
bit over.
does.
Yeah, I know that they were a bit overwhelmed because, everyone's a bit overwhelmed their first time there. But, um, oh man, Rusty found I think it was a 1930 chauffeur badge from Illinois. And this
That is
thing
too
was
cool.
awesome. It was awesome. And I know Miguel found like an eagle button that was really cool. Yeah, I think they had a blast. And now it seems like anyone that comes up here, up northeast from down south, or heck anywhere, I guess hey, I'll be your tour guide to the dump.
Well, I know a lot of people say that all the time to me, and I've heard them say it to you too, that they would love to go to that button dump.
Yeah,
Um, and I'm ready to go back again
I
since our
know.
last plan got foiled. But, you know, real quick, you and I both had an incident that
Oh
where we actually paid money to metal detect on a property this last week. I'll explain my situation, then you can explain your situation. So for me, this was my friend Zola had seen somebody post on one of the Facebook groups that this man had 200 acres of property, and there were supposedly 2 to 3 old homesteads on my property at one time. Yada yada. If anyone would be interested in maybe paying some money and signing a liability form and coming out and detecting. Well, Zola's like, yeah, and I've got friends that would be interested. So she does all this research on the property and talks to the guy several times on the phone. I was on speaker one time that we spoke to him on the phone, so he could kind of meet me as well. And anyway, long story short, me, Zola, Cinder, and our metal detecting buddy Theron all went out to the property. We brought liability forms, and he signed it. We exchanged. We had one copy for him, one copy for us. And if we found anything that was possibly worth over $1,000 or more in value, that we would, work out a split, that kind of thing. So anyway, we all paid our $25, and he hung around for a little while, and he showed us on the property, took us around on the little four-wheel drive thingy and Polaris type thing,
Yep.
and showed us where the different homesteads were and stuff. And we started digging, and we found some cool stuff. I'll have a video on that before too long. And Theron found a really cool button he's never found, kind of a bucket lister for him. And I found some pretty neat stuff. We all found some neat stuff. And unfortunately, Jocelyn Cinder, she had to leave early because she had to go to work. But anyway, we all had fun anyway. But anyway, back to what we were getting at is you had an experience that you ran into while you were at Bone, and you paid some money to metal detect a property. So I'm going to let you take over there.
Oh, Lord. Um, yeah, so I don't know. It was crazy. We thought it might have been part of that event, and we had stopped because there were multiple cars and detectors in the field, and I was standing at my truck and Laura was in her car, and I was trying to figure out if it was part of it or not. And a guy had come around and kind of, who gave you permission? And I'm like, honestly, I'm not detecting yet. I'm trying to figure out if this is part of this hunt, and it's not. You have to pay. And so we did. We paid. We said, sure, it would be awesome. We were trying to get in as many fields and as many places as we could, and got all the way down in this cornfield, and with our backs basically to where everybody parked. And I turned around to kind of come back up and cut towards Laura, who was way out to my right, in another row going down the fields. And when I turned around, everyone that was there was in their cars and pulling out. And I'm like, where's everybody going? And then, everything starts to click in your mind. You start going, oh my gosh, did they have permission? Oh my gosh, like, are we even allowed to be here? What's going on? Like, so yeah, all those crazy thoughts came through our heads. And, if this, why on earth would they all take off? And, we paid money, like. So
Right.
I shouted to Laura and I'm like, hey, I don't know. They're all left. And she's like, what do you mean they all left? And when she turned around, she's like, they're all gone. And I was like, I know. So yeah, we kind of high stepped it and fast trade, boogied out of there.
Whatever.
Yep, because they're like, all right, maybe there was no permission. Word around the grapevine was that property owner came and it was not uh, permitted. So
So you got
honestly,
scammed out of some money.
yeah, I might have. Um,
Uh,
so one of those things, like you live and you learn. It was definitely,
yeah.
it was definitely a learning moment. I don't know for a fact if it
Right.
wasn't allowed.
Right.
I do know that all of a sudden, being the only two people on a permission with no signs, no nothing, you didn't sign anything, you don't have any paperwork you have no idea. Um,
Right.
yeah, so it's like a buyer beware. Definitely, make sure if you're doing something like that and you're handing over money, you have more specifications, you have the documents, you have whatever, even if it's on your phone, whereas we had nothing. So, it is, I've been detecting, it'll be 9 years in a few days that I've been detecting. This is a first for
Mm,
me. So,
yeah.
yeah, definitely wanted to share that. So you had a good
Well,
experience and I not so much.
oh boy. Well, we all live and learn, and that's some, we have some great experiences and we have some bad,
Yep.
but unfortunately it just goes with life. But at
Yeah,
least
so,
you're okay, you're alive,
oh
and
yeah,
no,
no, we didn't get shot or
except for losing,
anything and
yeah,
arrested or.
right,
So hey, quick,
shot
before
because you're on your
before
property.
yeah, before we wrap up tonight. So, your YouTube, you hit a milestone, correct?
I did. So I hit 7,000. Now I think I'm somewhere like 7,060 something as of today or yesterday. I can't remember when I checked last. But I'm going to be doing a giveaway on my YouTube channel. And what I'm thinking about doing, instead of, I'm thinking about doing a bi-weekly giveaway.
Ooh.
Um, I have Christopher Altman sent me a book, his From the Ground Up, and he sent me a signed copy for me, and he also sent one for me to give away on the channel. And then I went ahead and purchased one online that should be arriving soon, and I thought we could give that one away in celebration on the podcast. So we'll
Awesome.
have one to give away on here, so maybe we can give that away next week, unless I'm up in Oregon, and we'll figure that out as we go. But so we'll try to give one of those copies away on here as well as on my channel. So this is an subscriber appreciation giveaways that I'm going to be doing. So be sure and make sure you're a subscriber. I know a lot of people said, "Oh, I've been watching your videos for a long time, but I didn't know I wasn't a subscriber." And then maybe you haven't made a YouTube account. It's so easy. You don't have to. You just basically, I think you type in whatever name you want to go by, and it's so easy to create an account. You don't have to have a YouTube channel to create a YouTube account. And that way you can make a comment and enter the drawing. You can subscribe and enter the drawing, and I'll be giving away that along with some silver. And what I'm going to try to do is give away at least 2 to 3 items every other week. And then once I get up to 10,000 subscribers, I'll probably be giving away another metal detector. I'm also, along the way, I'll have maybe some 10-pointers again that I'll be giving away, along with other prizes, lots of other prizes. So be sure and check that out. I'll be posting that. First I'm going to probably work on my Charles Garrett Memorial Hunt video, and then once I get that posted, I'll be doing the subscriber appreciation giveaway video. So if you want in on that, be sure and check that out.
Awesome. Very cool.
So I guess we are getting close to close here. So I had fun chatting about all of our adventures this week. I think we jam-packed this tonight. So hopefully our listeners, I haven't been able to see any of the comments, so hopefully y'all enjoyed tonight.
Yeah, it's crazy that, no guests and can talk for over about an hour of
exactly, and hopefully we'll have more to talk about soon on some more of our adventures. So anyway, thank you all for listening, and you all have a wonderful evening, and good night all. Talk to you soon.
Good night all.
Good night.